Hello, good yo-yo people. I'm Nate. This is Let's Talk Yo-Yo. Welcome. And today I have another review for you from Hubless YoYos. This is my review of the Hubless YoYos Bite Size. This is the in the hand section. What does it actually feel like in the hand? And on yo-yos that are kind of on the bizarre side of things, it's important to understand how it feels like in the hand. It actually is not that bad. Now, if you're familiar with Hubless, they are the makers of the donut yo-yo, high precision, all metal donut yo-yo. Now, this is not their first yo-yo. This is the bite size, so, you know, smaller. It's not small, but it's smaller. But the other one, the original one, the donut yo-yo, just the donut, I never reviewed it. I actually never got to play one. So I can't really compare other than for what I've seen in pictures. Now I do know that they've switched out the bearing and all that to kind of make it more of a standard response system and standard guts and all that stuff. But really, it's just a smaller version of it and a little bit more approachable. On the string section, the thing I'm going to be talking about most is with a sort of gimmicky yo-yo like this, a novelty yo-yo, let's use the word novelty, can it perform just like any other yo-yo? Or should it have to? All right, whatever, right? But we'll talk about that a little bit more. But let's talk about the construction. You will see right here, it's, you know, this kind of this bubbly, you know, sort of organic feel around the edge, but then it's opened up, I guess, like an H shape. I guess that's what you'd say. You have these really nice finger spin hubs there. I like this colorway too. I really like that. It comes in some really interesting, unique colors. This is kind of a green-ish yellow, whatever. Almost like an olive drab a little bit. And then black and then clear here. It looks really nice spinning too. You'll get to see that. Yeah, so let's take it apart because the gap is really interesting. You have these air pockets in here, which is going to be kind of fun to work with and give it that sort of, you know, that lighter sort of feel to it, perhaps. Perhaps, we'll see. But one of the interesting things here is that the axle is not removable. Because if you see, there's a hole directly through on the finger spin hub. There's a hole directly through there, and you can see all the way through it. All right, to get that donut sort of hole in the middle of the donut sort of vibe, they did that. So this is actually all one piece. You cannot take that out, and then it's been drilled through with machining and whatnot to give it that hole. So that's an interesting design. So it looks fairly about the same size as a regular axle. It's a little bit bigger, but if this strips, you're done, and you can't tune it. Overall, it seems like the guts are pretty much standard to most yo-yos. It's a C-size bearing. It's got regular pads. It's got all that stuff. But yeah, really interesting. Here's the one thing, and I'll talk about this a little bit more on the string. This wall here, this sort of lip here, it's too sharp. It's way too sharp. And I've had this string on here for not that long, and you probably can't see it on the camera, but a lot more fraying than it should be. And it's because it's catching on there. I think that could have been done better. I don't think it needed to be as sharp. Now, it's not going to cut you, and I don't think it's going to break your string, but it does become sort of annoying, in my opinion, when you're doing multiple string wraps, and you can actually hear it. It kind of has like a buzz saw kind of feel to it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of odd. And I'm not sure if that just had to happen that way, but you do see a little bit of a lip there, and I think that could have been smoothed out some or rounded over somehow, or I don't know. Again, I'm not the engineer here. It is an interesting design because you had to do a lot with the CAD work to really get this to be playable. So kudos to that. But I do think that's a little feature. If you wanted to make it a little bit more of, hey, it's modern everything, but just this novelty sort of design of a donut, I think that's one thing I would change from the design. If there was an updated version of this, I would smooth that out and make it so that the gap a little bit is a less drag. And you're gonna get more spin times, better spin times, and you're gonna get just a better playing yo-yo in general. So, all right, anyways, let's go ahead and play it. Let's see how it handles all these modern tricks. All right, let's go. All right, hey, let's talk about the color they're spinning there. Can you see that here? Isn't that cool? I like that green. It has that, definitely that like that OD sort of green. Oh, there we go. As far as smoothness on the string, you know, I would put it in about an 8, maybe closer to 7 out of 10. On the string, it feels smooth, but a little bit on the actual spin, it's not dead smooth. But that's okay. I really don't feel bothered by that. Let's talk about that thing I said with the gap a little bit and that wall there. Whenever you're, I don't know if you can actually hear it, but whenever you're just throwing tricks, you're gonna catch it. And perhaps, you know, this will help with perfecting, keeping the string centered. It definitely does help to have a center track bearing. I would not recommend doing a flat bearing with this yo-yo. I don't feel like it's gonna be performing well. It does decrease on spin times with that as well. But it's not bad. And I didn't really love the look of, now again, I haven't played the original one, but I don't see it performing as well as this one, as far as sort of actual performance and not just being the novelty. So it has that balance a little bit more so than the original one does, in my opinion, just from observation. It certainly has a lot more playability, and it can hit a lot more of those tricks. Let's go ahead and do a finger spin, because that's like really the first thing you want to do with these yo-yo. And so it's super, super easy. You do feel a little bit of that vibe on there, but it's not that bad at all. Yeah, it's super easy to hit, and it's a lot of fun. So it is a really fun yo-yo, don't get me wrong. But let's see how it continues to perform with some more modern tricks. Let's do some string wraps here. It's not bad. I felt that grind though, that thing that I'm not a fan of, and it's really slowing down. With this colorway though, you can really see whenever the yo-yo is slowing down. It's kind of nice. Yeah, see, it's not horrible. Okay, let's see how many we can exactly do. That's 4, that's pushing it. All right, let's go ahead and throw some Eli hops. It's actually not too bad for regens. I mean, it's not as great as like a normal shape, but it's actually not that bad. Let's see, rejections actually aren't that bad either, considering that wall I've talked about. Let's go ahead and do a grind here and see how it does with that. It's actually really easy to hit that gap there. It's wide enough that most fingers, unless you're like got really fat fingers, I don't know, it'll hit there really nice, and you could kind of stable it right there. It's actually a very stable yo-yo. You would think it's got these really chunky, you know, donut rings to it, and it's flared out quite a bit, so a lot of the weight really is to the rims. It has a really interesting feel in the string. It's not super lightweight. Has kind of that, you can feel a little bit of that air kind of flowing through those in those pockets. Let's go ahead and throw one of my tricks and we'll call it a day. You know, actually, I really do like the bite size. I think it's kind of a really just weird yo-yo, but that's okay. I think it plays really nice for what it is, and it hits most of the tricks that any other yo-yo could. It doesn't have the longest spin times, so it's not really gonna be ideal for longer combos and things like that. And a little bit of that friction, like I said, with that wall there, I think is not my favorite thing. But I really like it, and especially for, you know, kind of just fun tricks like finger spins and things like that. That's what you're gonna do a lot with this yo-yo. And it's a really just interesting yo-yo, and I think kudos to Hubless YoYos of actually just making something really fun and just kind of going out there and just doing it. And it's a really visually pleasing yo-yo too. All the colorways are really rad and very different. It definitely breaks the mold as far as anything out there right now. Really cool. So check out Hubless. I think I'm excited to see what they do in the future. I hope they go with this trend and continue just putting out different things that no one else seems to be caring about as much, and just kind of making a fun toy in the process. Now that we have a doorknob yo-yo and a donut yo-yo, we need that hamburger yo-yo. High precision metal hamburger yo-yo. Somebody needs to make it, all right? So anyways, that's gonna be my review of the Bite Size by Hubless YoYos, and as usual, good day and good yo-yo.